Hello, everyone. It's Robert Holmes here again, the author of One Fish Changes Everything, and I am joined this evening by a man that shares a name like mine, Mr. Robert Langley. Mr. Robert Langley, I met just recently through an acquaintance, and I've got to tell you, I've only had a few conversations with Robert, but it's been unbelievably inspiring. And I immediately said, Robert, the world's got to hear from you. So, Robert, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.
So let's tell the world a little bit about you, Robert. You and I caught up on the phone, and you caught me up on how you got into business, and just a great story all around. So let's rewind. Tell us a little bit about what you do. Tell us about your family, and where'd you grow up? How'd you get to be Robert?
Okay. I grew up in a town. It's an acronym for New Orleans Refining Company, and it's called Norco, N-O-R-C-O, Louisiana. And lived there until I got married in 77. And my wife's name is Ellie. We've been married 43 years. We have 3 children. We've got a son, and we have twin daughters. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, Robbie's 42 and the twins are 38. So they're grown, and they're doing well.
Excellent. What's it like having twins? I had twin cousins, and what a unique thing all the way around.
Oh man, let me tell you. The nurse tricked me into the delivery room, and I went in there, and she said, just look at your wife, don't look back. I'll tell you when it's okay to look. So, and we had some potentially disastrous things happen where they actually encouraged us to terminate.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because Ellie's dad was going through some radiation treatment, and Ellie was exposed to radiation before she ever knew she was pregnant. So many things happened with her health. Her blood, something changed in her blood. Her blood is very unique now. And so much so we had to put blood aside in case she would need it for the delivery. So we're in the delivery room, and the nurse is saying, everything's fine. The doctor says, okay, it's a healthy baby girl, and I'm going to clean up now. And I didn't want to look because I knew they had some cleaning up to do, right? So then the doctor says, oh, how about 2 for the price of 1? And that was our surprise.
Wow, you never knew it the whole time.
Oh, no. And thank goodness we didn't know, because they only heard 1 heartbeat. I mean, it would have been,
wow.
It would have been a huge problem, considering everything that Ellie was challenged with during the pregnancy. So it was quite an experience, you could say.
Oh, that's a really neat story. How old are the girls now?
38 years old.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Good deal.
Perfect.
So one of the things we do, Robert, in the show is we do a little rewind game. So I'm just going to throw out a year, and you reach back in your memory and try and remember what you were doing in that year, and just kind of let us know where you were. So the year for you is 1993.
1993. Well, our business was going. We had about 16 lease trucks working for us. And I want to say in June of 93, I bought my first brand new Peterbilt. And that was a starter thing, So I prided myself on having new equipment, pretty equipment, very nice equipment.
Yeah, that's good.
And like I used to say in the business, and I'd tell it to other people that work for us or colleagues, whatever, the 3 most important things in this business are in this order: image, image, and image. You know, because people, the things that we haul, people have to feel comfortable. You have to instill confidence that you're going to do what you said you were going to do on time. And most of what we hauled was refinery equipment, petrochemical equipment, machinery like turbines and centrifugal compressors, big money things. And you just had to make sure it was done right.
Sure. Yeah, you said you were actually had opportunities to haul some space shuttle parts. You told me at one point.
We used to haul the main engines for the space shuttle, and we'd carry them from John C. Stennis Space Center right here in the Mississippi-Louisiana line on I-10, and we would bring them down to Kennedy Space Center and actually go into the vehicle assembly building. That's the big building with the American flag and the big NASA meatball up there. So, and I actually hauled one that would never fly again, and it's on display at the visitor station there. I hauled that one myself. I didn't trust myself to haul a live flight engine. And there was so many considerations with that too. You had to have two drivers on the truck, and in case one got sick or incapacitated.
Right.
We had an unmarked government car with 3 people that chased the truck. We had to stay within a quarter mile of each other, constant surveillance. So when the government car would need to stop for fuel on that run. So one person from each team, the truck driver and one government person, would stay with the engine at all times. Well, and they eat in shifts.
Wow.
It was quite an experience to do that. And one of the most chilling things that we were told on every loadout, they would speak to you like they never saw you before. Same drill every time. If you think you hit a bump or something too hard, please say something. You have the lives of 7 astronauts in your hands.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
These are certified engines. And another one that kind of spooks you, you know, is that we mostly haul these in the dead of night. It's about a 10-hour run, you see. And she'd say, you know, if you turn this thing over tonight, it probably won't wake the president up, but he'll know about it at breakfast.
Wow. Wow. That's a little pressure, huh?
Like it, man. But they went through such extremes to make sure everything was perfect. They would, I don't care if you just loaded out, went to Kennedy, came back with an engine, returning. They would gauge the tread depth of every tire, and one guy's recording that. Then they'd pass a light over the truck frame and the trailer, like the neck of it's like a lowboy style trailer, you could say. And they'd pass a light over that looking for cracks. I mean, they inspected it. If you had a chip in a reflector, you'd have to replace it.
Wow. Wow.
Oh,
that's incredible. That's incredible. What an opportunity, huh? To be able to do something like that. There's not too many people in the world that could say they've done that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. The cheapest we ever haul was 41 million, and the most expensive one was 65 million. That one had never flown. Actually, it burned up on the test stand, brand new.
Wow.
Then we brought it back to California.
Wow. That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
You know?
So it's interesting. And you when we talked the other day, you kind of gave me, you know, how it all started. And I thought that was a great story. You know, you had your little Datsun pickup truck and you got asked to, what is it called? Hot runs, or what was it called? Hot shot.
Yeah.
And so what a great story. And to hear that you got to a point where obviously grew the business to a point where you can haul space shuttle parts. That is unbelievable. You know, kudos to you, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. It's just being scared and knowing that you feed a family, you know. It's just happened that I was looking for a job after I had gotten laid off. I mean, I got a wife, I got a 4-year-old son, I got twin girls that are 3 months old, and I don't have a job. So I'm looking, and I went to this one place. They would build offshore cranes, for offshore platforms. It's not a crane in the conventional sense. It sits on a post, you could say.
Got it.
On an offshore platform. So anyway, I went over there, and the fellow said, no, we just laid people off. We're not hiring. And I said, doggone, I need to find a job. He said, is that your pickup truck out there? I said, yes, sir. He said, why don't you do hot shots for us until you find a job? Because nobody out here does it. The company had just recently moved there. I'm going to say not 6 months. They had moved here to Reserve. And so I said, yeah, I guess I could. He said, don't make it sound so bad. They charge a lot of money. And he said, if you can do this till you find a job, I'll tell you how much they charge. Bill us, we'll pay you. And that's what I did. And I would continue looking for a job. And I would just do the same thing, no, we're not hiring. Okay, well, do you ever have a customer that needs parts today? You call me, I'll give you a price to bring that to them. You satisfied a customer, you made a sale, and I made a living. And,
yeah, what a great story.
In this area. Now, oil field hauling is big along the coastline, but here it wasn't, is an unknown concept. So
that's a great story. And it all starts with the customer need, right? And
yeah.
They need something right then and there. And that is the perfect scenario. We like to say that a lot in business, right? Everything starts with a customer need. that was absolutely what it was. And you told me a story about running some O-rings, and like 3 O-rings, and got paid a fortune to run 3 O-rings. But that's all back down to that customer need, right? He's got things down. He's got to get his job done.
Right. The dispatcher down in Corpus Christi, where I had to bring the O-rings, I guess that's about almost 600 miles. I mean, these O-rings are so insignificant, they didn't even write an invoice for them. I used to smoke back then. I took the little O-rings so I wouldn't lose them. I put them in the cellophane of my cigarette pack down there. And I was new, green could be. And I said, that dispatcher, I said, they're going to pay me for this? He said, absolutely. He said, when a rig is down, I don't care how big or how small, they're down. And he said, and I'm worried about your little bit of money.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Great story. All right. So, hey, one of the things in the book that I wrote, and I'm going to send you a copy. You haven't had a chance to read it yet, so hopefully you'll enjoy it. But one of the things in the book is really about mentoring. So I've been blessed to have mentors in my life, quite a few of them. And I think that, I've kind of always been, even from a young man, always just been in a position of listening. I just want to know more, right? Just kind of curious, I guess is a great way to say it. I assume that you probably had some mentors in your life.
Well, yes, I have.
Tell me about them.
The usual ones weren't in my life. My dad died when I was 15. He was 43. He had a massive heart attack.
Oh, wow.
His dad died at 57. I was 8 years old when that happened. And my maternal grandfather died 2 months after my dad's. I was 15 years old, And so the usual mentors were not there.
Right.
And I'll go to tell you, my wife and I had to figure out how to shave because I didn't know how to shave. That's things that you would take for granted if you had a father figure in your life, I used to have to go get somebody to put a tie on for me,
Right.
So just, maybe some other people that had that circumstance would understand what it's like, floundering around trying to figure it out. Ellie and I did a good job of figuring it out, I think.
Good for you. So it sounds
Yeah.
like you've been with Ellie for quite some time.
Oh, since high school,
Oh,
you
good
know,
for you.
so she puts up with me. She, you know, but
That's great.
often tell people, yeah, we just got married 43 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's cut to the chase. In our conversation the other day, Robert, you hit me with a wow, and I'll be honest with you. I love when I talk to people and I end up with goosebumps, and that's what happened in Spock talking with you. So let's go there. I want you to share that story with someone. You just mentioned your grandfather and your father, had heart issues. Talk to me about the recent experiences and challenges that you've run into and what that was all about.
If we're talking about the massive heart attack, that was February 27, 2013. And I didn't have the usual symptoms that people would often express. I had for prior couple of days, maybe I had pain in my jaw, pain in my neck. And, what happened was that I wasn't feeling quite right. And I actually was going to bed. My grandson was with me, and he wanted me to watch Duck Dynasty. So I'd seen it before, I had never seen it. So we did that, and somewhere in the show, Ellie tells me I got up and said, I think I'm going to have to go to the doctor tomorrow, which I know nothing about it. The last thing I knew, we were watching Duck Dynasty. That's what I remember. Ellie said, I came into the living room, knelt down behind one of the sofas, put my arms and my head on the back of the sofa, and she said, I told her, I feel dizzy. And I fell over and I was dead. So they went into action right away. Of course, nobody knew what had happened to me. That it was a massive heart attack. But my neighbor happens to be an RN, and she had just gotten home. And my grandson ran over there and got her, told her I was on the floor, not breathing. And she ran over here, and between her and one of my twins, Jessica, they did chest compression for 35 minutes.
Wow.
Which is quite a feat. But they were looking at my color, my legs and my feet. My feet were always purple, they said, but they would take a break when they got it down to just my feet, take a break. When they see that purple coming up my legs towards my knees, then they'd start again. And I was going for 35 minutes.
Wow.
And matter of fact, when the EMTs got to me here on the living room floor, they couldn't find a vein. They used a technique I know very little about. They actually shoot a needle into the shin, into the marrow to introduce medication. And they say it works instantaneously. My veins came back up. They were able to get my heart running again. And that was that. They brought me to the local hospital who couldn't do anything for me. Nobody expected that I was going to make it. I had 6 heart attacks along the way, And anyhow, they were sending me off to New Orleans Hospital. And we got over there, and the doctor wasn't going to take my case because I was going too long. And he told me that himself, he was discharging me. He said, there's no way you could survive that 35 minutes. I didn't want to bring you back. He said, frankly, none of us want a mortality on our record. I was going to let you go. Your family insisted I see you. I did go back there. I said, if you can hear me, squeeze my hand. He said, you did that and you tried to look at me. So I said, well, I'm going to try this. And he was able to put a stent in, not 30 minutes like normal. And he said, you son of a gun, let's say son of a gun, took me 5 hours to navigate through you. Yeah, he said, you were completely plugged. Now, one thing I really would like folks to know from my experience, there's no test that'll show what happened to me, that it was about to happen. I mean, I was good on my cholesterol. I was, I had recently done a treadmill because of the family history.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened was the widowmaker artery, and I'm told it's the only artery that can reject plaque. Now, when I say plaque, he told me I was normal for our region, our food and lifestyle, 30-40%. He said, which we treat that with medication. We don't do an intervention for that. And he said, that's where you are, 30-40%. However, the widowmaker, it lesioned that plaque. And what happened was the blood flow was coming against it, if you can imagine, like a flap valve. It got underneath that plaque and tore the artery, not completely, but it tore part of the wall away and flapped over like a check valve. And he said, when that happened, I couldn't tell you. It might have been a couple of days, it might have been minutes, but he said, you were plugged up 100%.
Wow.
And that's the reason why I have 24% ejection fraction. So all the front wall of my heart is gone. But, it's the way it is, right? I'm here, I'm making noise. So, right?
That's a great thing. That's a great thing.
And I woke up days later from an induced coma, and I had two, like the doctor said, you defy everything medically, because you came in here with a widowmaker, you were out for 35 minutes by all accounts, and then you ended up, I'm trying to remember what happened first. I developed an infection from the respirator tubes. Fever got so high, they iced me down to get my core temperature down. Then I developed pneumonia in one lung. And then what happened was they had to make a decision, let the infection kill me or unplugging me. And they unplugged me and the heart started running.
Wow, that's incredible. So I got one question for you.
Yes, sir.
Why are you here?
Must have something to do. I hope my message that we're delivering today might help some other people. When you're not feeling good and you know your body better than anybody else, don't be hard-headed like me. I was taking Alka-Seltzer. I just bought 2 more boxes of Alka-Seltzer. Kind of got to liking it too. I would drink that 2 or 3 times a day, and I said, well, I'm gonna have to go to the doctor, because I had diagnosed myself with something else, thought it was my esophagus inflamed, but guess what?
It wasn't. It wasn't.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor.
So I shared with you that I also had a incident in my life where I've been blessed to be given a second chance, and so I can relate to where you are, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about it, and I'm sure you're the same way.
Sure.
And I find myself sometimes getting frustrated because I just don't. No one gave me a book on the backside and said, here's what I need you to do for the next 30 years. Right. But somebody gave me a chance to do some great things. And so I'm constantly looking for what God wants me to do, and trying to decipher what direction I should be heading and what work I should be doing for him, because there's no other explanation, right?
Well, it's confusing at times, you
Yeah.
know, feel like we're left here for a reason, for a purpose. We still have something that needs to be done. Now, what is it? I haven't figured that out yet.
Yep.
I think about it all the time, but you know, it it's nice to be able to do things for people, to help people out, and that's good. That's not heroic or anything. That just, you know, help somebody put groceries in a car. I mean, that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And,
No, it's sometimes it's those simple things, and I agree with you. There's I used to do a lot of mission trips. I haven't done one in quite a while, but there's nothing more satisfying than helping someone. There
right.
really isn't,
That's
right?
gratification, instant gratification, right
Instant
there.
gratification, absolutely. And like you, I drive hard in business, and you've made a great life for yourself, and I run hard trying to do that. And the reality is there's throughout the days, right? It's all the little things that make the day special. It's not the fact that I got another deal, or it's sometimes, just holding the door open for somebody and them
Yeah.
smiling at you. It's hard these days because you can't see the smile underneath the mask. So, well,
Mask.
that's a great story. There was something else you told me earlier today when we were talking that was really kind of an impactful piece of the story. Share that with us, because I think it's important.
What occurred was like I told you, my daughter Jessica was here assisting with chest compression, and my son was called over. He got here. He rode in the ambulance to the first hospital, and my sister-in-law was there. These three people were in the emergency room waiting, right? And my daughter said, she told my wife and those three I just explained, she said to them, back there in the living room, I saw my mom, which is my mom, who has been gone since 1996. My mom was in the living room, right? And my son said, y'all won't believe this. She was in the ambulance with us. I saw her in the ambulance. My sister-in-law said, I sure wasn't going to have y'all think I was crazy and tell you I saw her back there in the ER with him.
Isn't that something else? Isn't that something else?
Explain that. 3 different people, 3 different incidents. They hadn't spoken with each other. They were in different vehicles going to the hospital. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're saying.
And each of them was reluctant to say anything because, hey, this is kind of wigged out. Nobody will understand this, but I believe it.
Yeah, I do too, my friend. I do too. And it's clear that you're here for a reason. And here's the thing that I've tried to come to grips with, Robert. And I think sometimes I look for this great big reason, right? And I look that I'm supposed to do something that's fantabulous in the world's eyes because I've gotten a second chance. And I have to shake my head sometimes and say, look, it's the little things every day that make the big things add up, right? Because it's a journey to get to where we're going. You and I know where we're going, right? And because we got there and it wasn't the right time. And
right.
And so now it's an opportunity for us to just enjoy every day, do the things we need to do to be good humans, right? And try to do the right things when we hear the little voices, right?
Right. One of the things I'm sometimes asked about is, what did you see? And honestly, I can tell you I saw nothing. but I felt so peaceful. And peaceful is not a strong enough word. It was way beyond that. It was a sensation. It was a feeling, no pressure whatsoever. It was wonderful. It was almost painful to come back.
Wow. Wow. That's
Almost
incredible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know what to say. I'm just so confused as to why I was here. I've to find the answer to that, because there's so many young people that have a lot of reasons to be here. They have young families. They have so many things that have to be done. You know, they got a new mortgage and they need to be here, and they were taken. Why was I? Why was I left here? You know, I've accomplished a lot of things. My goodness, I have done things people hadn't even thought of. You know, and I'm proud of that, and I lived a great life. I've, I've had everything. I've had everything. You know, the love of a family. We made a good living, and I think I was. I think I was good to people along the way. At least I intended to be. So, what can you say?
Yeah, no,
What,
it's
what
good, and there's an obvious reason that you're here, my friend, and you know, I'm so happy that we were introduced, and I've gotten to know you, and I think our relationship is just beginning. So that's really good, and I'm a powerful story. These type of stories, just, you know, to find somebody that's gone through similar things, and it to me is just you know, again, just another voice that shows me that, hey, this is real. This is real. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So you mentioned you know, you've done well in life. Tell me about what you consider your greatest success.
My greatest success, um, in personal life, it would have to be Ellie. Ellie has put up with me for a long time. Um, in in business, um, gosh, we've hauled so many things that are just so shocking to me. You know, that people put their trust in us. You know, I always tried to have brand new equipment. I'd sell Peterbilts when they were less than 3 years old. You know, I always wanted new equipment. I'm going to pay the bank. I'm not going to pay the bank and the mechanic, because when we need these trucks, they have to get up and go. And I mean, right now, we're in the emergency response business. You could look at it like that.
Yeah.
Not 100%, you, but when a pipeline would blow up, we'd have to bring skimmers out there in the dead of night with state police escorts, and, you know, just, how would you say, mitigating the loss.
Right.
And
Right.
what we do. An interesting thing, this goes back quite a few years. I did a lot of work for Shell Oil Company, and I was told Monday you're going to get a call from our land transportation supervisor, and I was scared to death. You know, this guy's in Houston. You know, I mean, wow. Now he's going to call me. So he did. 1 o'clock on Monday, he called, and we had a conference call with some of the folks at the Norco refinery. So he's there, you know, introduces himself, and he said, you know, it's my job to ask you if you can afford us some concessions on price, which thought about it, and he referred to another truck line. Oh, they offer us 15% discount, and I know the truck line. I know them well, and like I told him, I said, and believe me, I did not mean to sound arrogant when I said it. I truly just wanted to make the point. I said, okay, I said, when they offer that discount, they have to offer it to lease truck drivers who will refuse it because it's a discount. And they have to go down a list, which time is money when you just lost equipment. So it said, hypothetically, it's Saturday night, 2:00. You just lost a turbine. What do you want, a discount or a truck? It was a pause. I'm like, oh boy, I'm getting kicked to the curb now. I mean it like that. But after what seemed like eternity, he says, well, it's my job to ask that question.
I love it. Great story.
You're okay. And they still had some buyers on the phone from the refinery in. And he said, I just got to tell you, they said they were going to use you anyway.
That's great. That's great.
We won Shell Oil's Partners in Quality 5 years in a row. We won Shell Chemicals Supplier Excellence Award 6 years in a row. The 1 year that Shell Polypropylene had a recognition program, they gave 4 awards countrywide. We got one of them.
Good for you.
You know, like I was told by the managers that were hosting this banquet, if you will, he got up there, and this is humbling. He says that you guys might remember last year we pared our vendor database down from 5,000 to 1,600, and you had to be good to make that cut. But tonight, I'm addressing 20 companies out of the 1,600. So 20 companies a year would get this award.
Yeah,
Same chemical.
That's something to be proud of for sure. For sure. Well done.
There's hard work and dedication. But you know what? I'm one of those guys that could say, I don't really think I worked a day in my life. Maybe I do need to find a job. You know, what I was doing, problem solving. You know, we got this, that, and the other. I mean, we even do hand carry documents when there's an event. Maybe they need to send critical documents. We do private charter jets, hand carry. I do that. I mean, I fly all over for these companies, all the different oil companies and marine propulsion people, GE turbine. You know, whatever they need, you got to think outside the box and make sure that they don't have to go down the list to get this taken care of.
That's great. Well, certainly you don't get in a position like that without having phenomenal leadership. So as humble as I can tell that you are, which is a great quality of a leader, you know, you should certainly be proud and know that in your seat, right, you've done some amazing things. And I'm sure you've had some great people around you, but they've been led. But they've been led, right?
It's the people. It's the people. You know, if you don't have drivers that are conscientious, you're going to have a problem.
Yep,
you know,
for sure.
I don't want to make this work. I've got an award on my desk from Marathon Petroleum, you know. So it's pretty neat to be able to work with these folks like this, you know.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
From a leadership standpoint, who do you think is the best leader in history ever?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yes. Good one. Good one.
Yeah.
Why?
It'd have to be. He was up against all odds, wasn't he? You know, who would take him serious? Guy riding on a donkey, huh? But his message was clear. It still stands today.
Yeah, isn't that incredible? 2,000 years later, right?
Yeah, he was significant enough to where our calendar started at his birth.
Yeah, that should say it all right there, right?
Yeah, I don't know anybody else that would be able to do that. You know,
that's for sure.
Think
That's for sure.
Anybody else.
So I agree with you a whole 100% on that one for sure.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
so I'm going to close this, and Robert, honestly, I think you and I are going to talk more, and both both personally, and I'd love to have you back on this because I think you're a couple things. Number one, you're a great leader. Number two, you've had a phenomenal life that's really super interesting. You've had some tremendous experience that you've overcome, and it takes adversity to do that. And you're a good storyteller. and you are a good storyteller. I could listen to you all night. So I appreciate your time. Well, we're going to close with these three questions. All right.
Yeah.
What do you think makes a great leader?
I guess understanding people, and what you try to do is let everybody shine the best way they can, and you use that as a synergy, if you will. I know that's a buzzword, but you have to let people express themselves and be heard and contribute, right? It doesn't mean that we're always going to agree, but you still have to work with people. Let's get this done. And we're going to have fun doing it too.
Yeah, for sure. I agree there. All right, the second one, I asked you already with this, who's the best leader in history. So you answered that and answered it well. But this third one, it gets you to think. So when it's all said and done, how do you want people to remember Robert Langley?
I left them smiling.
I love it.
I want to say that. I want people to smile when they think of me.
Well, I tell you, I haven't known you very long, but you certainly have had me smiling in a few conversations. So I can see how people around you would certainly feel that way, and I think you're doing a good job.
Well, Robert, I mean, everybody has a story to tell.
Yep.
We've spoken on this already. Some people will show you what not to do, and you got people that'll show you the right way and reinforce what we're trying to do. As Christians, doesn't mean we're perfect. It means we're striving to achieve a goal, and we have to work at it. We're human beings, right?
Absolutely.
And we're striving for it, a goal.
That's right.
So anyhow,
good stuff. Well, listen, Robert, I appreciate you joining us, and unbelievably enjoyed the conversation with you once again tonight. And we'll stay in touch for sure, and we'll do some great things in the future together, I'm sure. But so have a great evening. Keep up the good work, and if you need something, give me a call. Okay.
I will, Robert. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you for the opportunity.
No worries. Thank you so much.